Linda, a lot of educationalists and writers about school talk about lifelong learning and that being the ultimate goal of school, you know, to have something that we take with us through life. But how can we achieve that love of learning in itself when sometimes school can be kind of a little bit boxed in and a little bit we're learning to tests and we're learning to a curriculum. How as parents can we help our children develop that lifelong love of learning?
Well, it's a really interesting question, and I think it's something that we really need to ask our children. You know, what do they think school's all about? What do they think learning is? And actually having an exploration of that is really interesting. You know, one of the things that I feel really passionately about is children loving reading. And once children really take off with their reading and love it and really connect with stories and want to just read, then the world opens up for them. And if that's the one thing that we can give our children as a gift from school, by the end of primary school, is just loving reading so that they still want to do it, you know, when they're 20 and 30 and 40, instead of it feeling that they have to read.
Right.
Those are the kinds of things that inspire children to ask questions, to be curious about the world, and to relate what they're reading and what they're experiencing to their own experiences and make sense of the world. So a deeper understanding of what learning is all about and asking them what they think the function of school is, I think is really important. It's something that we don't generally do, is to say, well, what do you think reading's about? What do you think learning's about? And asking that question can really give some really interesting answers.
Have you had that conversation with children that you've worked with?
Yeah.
What sort of answers have you had back?
Well, for something like, well, what is reading? You know, children would say, well, it's getting the words right, or it's reading chapter books, or rather than it's for enjoyment, or it's because I love to find out about adventure stories, or I'd love to kind of know more about travelling into space, or you know, and relating it to something that they're passionate about. Those are very rare responses. You know, responses are usually, well, learning's about getting the right answer. It's about, you know, pleasing the teacher. It's, you know, the adults around.
So how do we change that? How do we?
By asking children how they feel as a result of what's happening from school. Sometimes children get rewarded externally for, you know, achieving something.
I mean, the stickers and stuff.
Yeah, and teachers notice that they've finished something, or that, you know, they're doing something that they feel is appropriate in a school setting, as opposed to, well, what does the child feel about it? And a simple thing that you can do to help a child connect to their learning is to, you know, actually ask them, you know, what do they want to get out of it? Asking a child, you know, what do you want to learn this year at school? Then you get a sense of something that they really are passionate about and that they want to find out about, rather than just feeling they've got to get through the school year and that there's a test at the end of it. And, you know, teachers want to get out of that rut of teaching to tests. Children are certainly stressed and anxious about tests that they have to experience. So if we share that and think about, well, what do the teacher and the child want to get out of the year, instead of it feeling like we're teaching to tests, then we're going to engender that concept of lifelong learning. It's the experience rather than the outcome.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Wonderful.